Will of D has to be one of the biggest mysteries in all of One Piece. This secret special initial holds the truth to the world that the government is trying to hide. But more importantly, it is also the root and the foundation to the story itself. It is said that the ones who bear the name of D will brew up a storm, but that clue to the secret meaning of D flew right over your head. Today you're gonna learn exactly why the secret is the Will of Diva and why Oda has been hiding it this whole time. But in order to simplify this and not confuse you, I had to split this video up into 3 different chapters. Chapter 1, Inspiration, Chapter 2, Depiction, and Chapter 3, Future. Make sure to watch chapters 1, 2, and 3 in order, that way you're not confused and so you see the bigger picture. And I promise you by the end of this video, you are never going to look at One Piece the same ever again. Chapter 1, Inspiration. So in order to make this prediction, we need to know consistencies in Oda's writing. One truth that we know about Oda is he references religions, mythologies, books, movies, etc. all the time. These things are a super common occurrence, and honestly, it's one of my favorite things about his writing. Just like how one of my favorite things about YouTube is when you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell, that way you never miss more videos like this. But anyways, I have some interesting examples when it comes to Oda making these references. For an example, in Fishman Island, there were 2 different characters, Icarus and Daedalus. Icarus was a giant squid fishman that was an officer to the new Fishman pirates, while Daedalus was a giant squid that was close friends with Icarus. Now in the past, the regular squid Daedalus died because he went too close to the sun, which caused him to dry out and decease. Now this story comes from the real life myth of Daedalus and Icarus, where it was actually Daedalus who gave the warning to Icarus, who flew up too high and died. This is one of many examples where Oda takes inspiration from the real world and applies it to One Piece, and even if he switches the names around, the reference is still obvious. Then you even have a case like Sengoku, where in pre-time skip, he was an important figure because he was the fleet admiral of the Marines. Like, this dude was running shit at Marineford and even fighting against pirates. But the fact that his devil fruit is named Daibutsu, which is the exact Japanese word for Buddha, is definitive proof that Oda's even willing to make things the exact same. Oda will get deities from the real world and apply it to One Piece. Or what about the Wano arc, which is currently the longest arc, sitting at 149 chapters. One half of the big bad of the arc was a Wario looking motherfucker named Orochi, and his devil fruit is named the Yamato no Orochi, which is the exact same name and depiction of a popular Japanese legend. Again, Oda is not afraid of getting a real life figure and using the exact same name and depiction in his story. You even have Luffy, where according to Oda's own author notes, calls him Hanuman the monkey god. Then Oda takes it even further by having Luffy use an attack called Bajrangan, knowing very well that Bajrang is another name for Hanuman, the monkey god. Now it's getting to the point where even the main character himself is based on religious figures, which should make you wonder, like, how much of this story is based on religious figures and worldwide mythologies. I personally love it because it's an opportunity to learn about the world we live in and all the cultures it has to offer. And even if you look at Oda's best friend, Masashi Kishimoto, the author of Naruto, tons of characters and attacks in the show are directly based off real life deities. Chapter 2, Depiction. Now, without a shadow of a doubt, we know for a concrete fact that Oda based large portions of his story off of religious deities. Now, how far is he willing to go? I'd say even as far as the Will of D. Because think about it, the D has to stand for a certain word in order for it to make sense. That's part of the reason why people think the D stands for dream, destiny, demon, etc. Like it would be a word that symbolizes the meaning of this family. And it wouldn't be a made up word that doesn't exist in our world, because then it wouldn't hit. The whole point of this long-term mystery being hinted at by an initial is so once the word is given, a million thoughts start to rush to your head. Like if the D stood for Daba Daba Do, it wouldn't really matter because we don't know what Daba Daba Do means. So for an example, if it was something like demon, then we would start connecting lots of plot points in the story. All of the clues, all of the foreshadowing would immediately smack us in the face, even if we had to go Google this existing word. And this is why I believe the D initial, the Will of D, stands for the family of Divas. If you already know what this word means, I guarantee your head just exploded. But if you don't know what this word means, prepare to be mind blown and have your entire world turned upside down. Now in Hinduism, the term diva means shiny, exalted, heavenly being, divine being, and anything of excellence. Now this term would already fit most if not all the members of the D clan, where they are excellent in their respective field. I'll go deeper on this point later, but remember it for now. Diva is also one of the Sanskrit terms used to indicate a deity in Hinduism. We already went over multiple deities in Wano, like Luffy being based on Hindu deity Hanuman, but I believe this goes even deeper because the family of D has deep-rooted ties to the ancient kingdom. Because remember, the ancient kingdom is said to have been so massive and so powerful, so it makes sense that someone like a sun god used to live in that kingdom. And you could take it a step further when Skypiea tells us that there's also a god of the rain, god of the forest, and a god of the earth. So if you don't want gods to be in the story of One Piece, I'm sorry, but it's too late. It is what it is. And honestly, there's no reason to be afraid or hesitant for Oda to have gods in the story just because a totally different anime sucked to you when it used gods. Oda is clearly giving gods a role in the story, but not in the way that you're afraid of. Now in Hinduism, diva is a masculine term and the feminine equivalent is Devi. So for characters like Luffy, his name could be Monkey Diva Luffy. And for characters like Rouge, it could be Porcus Devi Rouge. Oda could take the approach where the D derives from the same concept but differs depending on masculinity and femininity. In the earliest Vedic literature, all supernatural beings are called divas and ashras. Now we already have half of the equation in One Piece. Like sure, we might not have the divas yet, but we already have ashras, and I'll get to that in a second. Furthermore, according to the Puranas and Itihasas of Hinduism, the divas represent the good and the ashras the bad. And this is seen through Zoro's attack form thingy called Ashra. And I believe this is a huge clue proving why the D initial stands for diva because of how Oda treats Ashra in the story. In the Enies Lobby arc of One Piece, Kaku describes Zoro's Ashra attack as 3-faced 6-armed demon god, which is exactly what an Ashra in real life is, often appearing as a 3-headed demon god. So seeing how Ashras in One Piece are depicted the same exact way as in real life, and the divas are so closely tied to the Ashras, there's no way that Oda isn't gonna have divas in the story of One Piece. Now the most interesting detail that has me sold on this whole idea is the goal and purpose of an Ashra. It is often said that the Ashras compete against these divas and are considered the enemy of the gods. So there's two groups in Hinduism we're talking about today, divas which are gods and Ashras which are demons. So since Ashras are in One Piece and they are called demons in One Piece, do you think there's a group in One Piece that are called the enemies of the gods? Yeah, there is. According to Kotazone, the D clan needs to be a secret name for Law because they are considered the enemy of the gods. Now you might be thinking that this doesn't make sense because it shouldn't be the divas that are the enemy of the gods, it should be the Ashras, and to which you are 100% right, except for the fact that the celestial dragons are following a super intentional theme in the story of One Piece. I'll use Doflamingo to explain what I'm talking about. So King Riku was a good man and leader to Dressrosa, but when Doflamingo came to the island, he manipulated the country into thinking King Riku was the bad guy and was the enemy. Therefore, Doflamingo hijacked the country and took leadership while the country was fooled and even having their memory wiped. I am 99% sure this is exactly what the world government, aka the Gorosei, aka Imu, did. The ancient kingdom had someone named Joy Boy where he and his followers were a part of the Diva clan. Imu, being a selfish and evil person like Doflamingo, decided to go to that country and destroy it. And just like Doflamingo, Imu decided to wipe the memories and truth from everyone involved. And the icing on the cake is just like Doflamingo, Imu tricked everyone into thinking the D clan was the enemy, which in truth was actually Imu. That's why they call the D clan the enemy of the gods, is false propaganda so the Ashras of the world can rule it. This is the foundation to One Piece. It's good versus bad, light versus dark, god versus demon. So the D initial isn't demon like the world government wants everyone to think, it's actually diva, which is the total opposite of a demon. Imu is fooling everyone. Chapter 3, Future. Now these ideas are further supported in the moments leading up to Kotazone calling the D clan the enemy of the gods. Law asks Kotazone if he's supposed to be a monster or something, and Kotazone says that no one knows the truth, but the name lives on in the dark shadows of history around the world, and in one area, the people of the D are known as the enemy of the gods. You need to read this closely and read in between the lines to understand the bigger picture. Kotazone said that no one knows the truth. No one knows the truth because the history is forbidden. Just look at Ohara. The world government doesn't want anyone to know the truth. Kotazone also says the name lives on in the dark shadows of history around the world, because we very well know that poneglyphs are still existing even if Imu's trying to keep the truth in the dark shadows, aka the void century. But you and I know very well what's done in the dark always comes to the light. By the end of One Piece, the world will know the history and truth that Imu wants covered up. Imu hijacked the Diva clan because they were gods. That's why we have moments where the Gorosei wants the D initial wiped from the names of Luffy and Roger. Roger. If the world knew D stood for diva or gods, how would the Goddess and celestial dragons hold their title as gods? Everyone would question it. So when Corazon says that in one area, the people of D are known as the enemy of the gods, that's because the celestial dragons hijacked the position of a god from the D clan. And they manipulated the entire world by having the D clan seem as if they are the enemies. Like if you look back to Robin's flashback, you'll remember how Professor Clover said that as soon as the ancient kingdom fell, the current world government began its reign. It's right in front of our faces. The home of the D clan, the ancient kingdom, was destroyed and the celestial dragons took control. But this act, these lies, this manipulation will come to an end. Because just like in Hinduism, the monkey god known as Hanuman, aka Luffy, will bring the truth back into the world. And speaking about Hanuman, I have even more evidence that the will of D stands for divas. So in Hinduism, Hanuman just so happens to be one of the divas. And that's just like how Luffy just so happens to be one of the D clan members. Then if you take a look at Hanuman's father, Vayu, he himself is labeled as Lord of the Winds, which could be a huge inspiration for Luffy's father, Dragon. But anyways, Dragon aka Vayu was also a diva, just like how Dragon is a member of the D clan. Now there's members of the D clan that might actually be fake members, and one of the biggest candidates is Blackbeard. If we look at the special traits of a D clan member, one of the most important traits is the character smiling at the face of death. Here are some examples. Witnesses claim Goldie Roger died smiling, Smoker saw Luffy smile, Robin witnessed Saul laughing and smiling, Rouge is seen crying and smiling, Ace thanked everyone and smiled, and even Law smirked and flipped off Doflamingo when he had a gun to his heart. But for some odd reason, Blackbeard doesn't fall under what seems to be this rule. When Whitebeard attacked him at Marineford, he started to panic and begged for mercy. Blackbeard, though he did not show fear when fighting Ace, could not accept death when it became a strong possibility. Even the One Piece wiki agrees with this point. So this is a possibility that just one character in the entire story is faking having the D initial, and this could explain Blackbeard's true nature. Like I have a video explaining how Hanuman's greatest enemy was Thrisidas, a three-headed Ashura. This Ashura was able to read the four Vedas, which is basically secret ancient text, which could correlate with the road poneglyphs. So this theory is basically saying that Blackbeard is a three-headed Ashura, but it goes way deeper than what I'm telling you now. If you're interested in more and you want to see the video, the link should be at the top of the screen. You will be mind blown. But my point is that the will of D, the D initial, the family of D stands for divas. The divas are known as the gods and the Ashuras are known as the enemies of the gods. Imu stole this leadership and manipulated everyone into believing that the divas are the enemies of the gods. But this will not last forever because our favorite rubber man, Monkey Diva Luffy, will expose the truth to the world. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more videos like this. If you want definitive proof on why Imu is the Sea Devil, check the video out to my side. You're gonna lose your mind. But this is the Demon King and I'm signing out. Peace.